Hey guys, Marcus Melnick here with Firearm Mentor. Hope you're enjoying my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. These little things are free to you and really help the channel. I appreciate your support. Enjoy. Thank you.
The views expressed are not those of local community broadcasting, WYML LP, or its management, volunteers, or underwriters. Greetings and welcome to the Personal Safety Show. This is Marcus Melnick from Firearm Mentor and Stress to Logic, your host. And as you know, the show is all about safety, and health and safety go hand in hand. So I have on the line Jack Orlov from Right Healthcare and Mr. Mike Jackson from Active PureTechology to talk about what their businesses do to help people stay healthy, because health and safety are hand in hand. Jack, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Can you share with everyone what's your background, your origin story, and how did you get to be where you are today?
Sure. I was actually a biology major way back in college at University of Illinois, and I was a pre-med student. Unfortunately or fortunately, I had a great time in college, and I had a couple of interviews at the end, and they said to get a master's degree or something like that. I ended up doing the mathematics and a couple years of that, and 4 years of med school and 5 years of residency. I was looking at 11, 12 years before I ever really got into working. And unfortunately, in April, right before I was graduating college in May, my mother passed away from cancer. And we had my cousins in town, and two of my first cousins are very well-known physicians. And I was talking to them, and they asked me, what is I going to do when I graduate? And my one cousin, who's a dialysis renal physician, told me that I should look into the medical supply industry. And literally, that's what prompted me to send out resumes to all the big companies here in Chicagoland. And I got my first job at that time with Medline, and I was in the medical supply business. And I graduated from there to being one of the sales managers and then the vice president of national accounts, calling on all our dealers and distributors around the country. And what I loved about it was, one, building and making the relationships with people all over, and seeing, because it wasn't like we had some massive introductory kinds of products. They were all basic day-to-day products. But it was, where can I help, how can I help, and what can I do for you? And it worked wonderfully, and I was taught early on in my career that your relationships take you to the places you want to go. Not about hard sell, telling them this, that, whatever. It's strictly the relationships I built, and that's gone on now with many other healthcare businesses I've been involved with.
Tell us about your current endeavor, which is Right Healthcare.
So Right Healthcare, I've been through the medical supply, the durable medical equipment, the pharmacy business, the therapy business, and then I ended up going off basically on my own. And Right Healthcare Ventures is just me. And what's happening in these days, the last 15, 16 years, is being approached by other companies that have something unique, special, or that they're trying to get out into the marketplace. And as I get accused of knowing everybody, which there's still a couple, I haven't met some people in person yet, but I go out there and help them build and develop those relationships and get their products out into the needed areas that they're looking for.
Interesting. So this is we're going to talk about one of those products, and
exactly,
it looks like you are kind of cutting edge, which is for me very interesting. I know that you hopped on the COVID testing. That was a huge business opportunity, and I actually applaud you for doing that.
That worked because of a good friend that had a big group of nursing homes and was having serious issues, and I saw him on the news with people dying in his facilities, and through a couple of connections got to bring the laboratory services in and oversee them to get very quick results so that they could protect their patients.
And that's phenomenal. You know, all heroes don't wear capes, and it's certainly, everyone does our little part.
Or a mask either.
Or a mask. I see what you did there. Very good. So tell us about, and I also have on the line the inventor of Active PureTechology, Mike Jackson. So this, I'm going to ask you both just talk about this awesome air cleaning product that you've developed, that you're giving to various or selling to various organizations. Go right ahead.
My name is Mike Jackson, as was already stated, and I won't give you my whole ordeal here, but I've been in business 45 years. And I started my little business with $25 grocery money my wife loaned me, and grew it to $3.5 billion business, 1,100 full-time employees, and the 17th largest sales force in North America, according to Sales Power magazine. We developed a technology in conjunction with NASA, the space agency. I winter in Florida, and I was over at the NASA doing a tour, and I learned about a technology they developed for the International Space Station to purify air and surfaces. Got very interested because I'm in the air purification business. And I learned that when an astronaut sneezes, the entire International Space Station becomes impacted, infected with a virus or a germ or whatever. And they needed a technology that would purify air and sanitize surfaces without filters. So they developed filterless technology. And I was timely enough to capture that technology, to patent it for use here on Earth, and to, after 10 years of working with the technology, earn the Space Technologies Hall of Fame status, along with things like LASIK surgery and GPS and satellite TV. We were honored because we've helped so many people. You know, I mentioned earlier on the pre-call, we've opened up 250,000 classrooms that would have been closed and kids would have been unsafe. Over 500 churches that we've helped to keep open. It's an amazing technology. It kills COVID-19, SARS-CoV-2 in 60 seconds to 99.96%. So it's a great technology, and we're helping a lot of people and keeping a lot of homes and businesses safe.
That's phenomenal. So I can imagine testing in a lab in a sealed room where you can actually test that. Is there any data once deployed in a house, a classroom, a church with various walls and carpeting? Is there any data there that supports this product?
You're a very smart guy. A lot of the testing that is done on things like air purifiers is totally bogus. It's done in the size of a bread box. Right. We do real world testing. So, for example, I went to the La Jolla School District in Texas, and we tested 300 buses that we put our technology on, and showed that the germs, the bacteria, and the viruses were reduced on the steering wheel of the bus, on the seats of the bus. You know, you think about putting 40 kids on a bus that are, one of them is sick. Pretty soon they're all sick. Pretty soon the school's shut down. We do real world testing in actual classrooms. And so the answer is yes, we don't ascribe to fake testing. We do real testing in real world environments.
Phenomenal. And I did not know that before I asked it, but that's what I was thinking. And you have different size units. You have a room unit, you have a whole house unit, and I'm guessing there's something with a big HVAC industrial unit. Can you go into what each unit does, or how they work, and what would a regular consumer want to get?
Here's, if I can answer it in a better way, because I know the technology. This is an active technology, not a passive technology. And Jack, what the difference is that a passive technology, imagine somebody walks into your studio and they sneeze and they've got stuck throat. Okay? A filter has to take all those germs and suck them to a device maybe 50 feet away or 100 feet away and remove them from the air. That never happens. Only a small percentage ever gets to a device. Our technology that NASA is active. And what that means, it leaves the device, it moves throughout your entire studio or your schoolroom or your church or your mall or whatever, and it destroys the contaminant if it was COVID-19, if it was strep throat, if it was mold at the source. That's a completely different type of process. And that's why it's an award-winning process. It purifies air and hard surfaces. So to answer your question, we have about 70 different devices that deliver Active Pure, ranging from monster-sized units for gymnasiums and libraries and big environments, all the way down to small units like for elevators. And what we do when we get a client or customer that needs to be provided with equipment to provide safety for their inhabitants is we do an analysis of the environment and then determine, is it a freestanding unit? Is it installed in the HVAC? Is it a unit that's industrial that rolls around for a gymnasium? A lot of different ways to go.
Well, you answered my next 8 questions, which is great. Thank you. Thank you for moving ahead. That was phenomenal. And I'm thinking about one for my house because I am a complete germaphobe. Just to explain to you guys, growing up, both of my parents had cancer at different times and was on chemotherapy, and we were so careful not to bring home any germs because their resistance to fighting germs or white blood cell count was extremely low. That has scarred me for life. That's kind of a joke, but I'm very cautious. If somebody's sick, I'm like, hey, let's reschedule, unless it's a phone call. And I'm very concerned because I don't want to bring it home. It interrupts everyone, and it's not fun. So what would just a traditional, maybe a 2,000 square foot house, if there was a single unit, what would the cost on something like that be, ballpark?
So typically for a home, it's $999. When we first came out with the technology, they were up around $3,000. But as you get more efficient, you can drive the prices down.
Right.
So just under $1,000. And it's filterless technology, which means that you're not changing filters every month, all that extra expense. In fact, I won't say which of the areas, but an area that you guys know very well, a big monster city, they invested in hundreds of millions of dollars of HEPA filters only to find out that they didn't work, number one, for COVID-19. And number two, that it was about $40 million a quarter just to change the filters. And so all that got discarded. Our technology doesn't require filters. It does have a cell that's changed annually. That's inexpensive, but amazing technology. And once again, I want you to think about when you pop popcorn in the studio there in a microwave. How long does it take before the popcorn smell is smelled everywhere? The answer is it's instantly, right? Active Pure works like that. It moves at about 1,200 feet per second throughout the entire home environment, every crack, every crevice, anywhere mold's hiding, and it inactivates it literally in minutes. So your home would be an ideal place. And by the way, 100% of homes that are tested have mold in them. Mm-hmm. And mold is a very serious problem. And like you said, with your parents, when you're nursing homes and assisted living facilities, when we put our technology in an assisted living facilities, they used to get outbreaks. One person would get sick, pretty soon everybody's sick. Right. With Active Pure, it's isolated to the individual. It doesn't transfer throughout the facility. So pretty cool deal.
Is it noisy? What type of?
Running one right next to me. Now you can hardly hear them at all. It has multiple settings depending on what your noise level that you like is, but very, very quiet.
Okay.
HEPA filters are not quiet, by the way. HEPA filters sound like an airplane motor next to you. That's
true. That's true. My family kind of teases me because I'm a firearms instructor, but I hate noise. How do you do that?
I love the fact that you have a safety show, and there's so many things. I just got my carry permit for Wisconsin, transferred from Tennessee, because the northern states are a little tougher, as you know. Yes, but sir. I believe in personal safety, that's for sure.
Yeah, and in all areas, not fire safety, trip and fall safety. Yep. And you certainly do that. So is this type of thing covered by like a health insurance, or even Medicare?
So my experience on that is that if a doctor gives you a prescription for air purification, you've got asthma, you've got allergies, whatever, oftentimes insurance companies, Medicare, will let you choose the unit that you need. It's not something that's out there that it's like a certain medicine or something, but it can be done, and it does get done that way.
Okay. I'm planting some seeds in my own head because maybe I can get a prescription. I don't know. Okay.
Well, I tell you what, what I will do is I will send you an air purifier if that's legal and okay with your station.
Sure.
You put it in there. Let me guide you as to what is so powerful and so great about this technology, and maybe we can do some more shows down the road.
I love it. We can certainly do that. Awesome. So this is your area of expertise. I'm just the schmuck behind the microphone who's interviewing you. And so sometimes I don't have a depth of understanding. Do you have anything that you'd like to share, either of you, that maybe I didn't cover that would be important for the listeners? The floor is yours.
Well, I do, and that is the million-dollar question is, well, how do you get one? Are they online? Are they at Walmart? How do you get one? One of the things that I mentioned, I grew my company from $25 to $3.5 billion in business. That's total sales that I've ever done. And the way I did it is through an independent sales force, 1099, not employees. I have 1,100 employees that manufacture them, but our sales are all done by individuals like Marcus or somebody else that just love the technology so much, and they want to have a side hack, some income flow. That's kind of a big deal in this day and age, isn't it? A way to get some more income coming in. And so we develop distributors. We educate them about the technology, and then they do shows at malls and talk to their friends and do different advertising. And that's how we grew to a worldwide company, is people to people.
And that would be why I'm here.
Right.
There you go.
So, Jack, share your contact information and how people can get a hold of you to learn more about the unit and see if it's a good fit for them.
Right, and one other thing I want to throw out there is that there is, in the healthcare business world, there's a lot of grant money available, and I'm not a pro at all in that grant world, but when you look at what this can do for the senior facilities, nursing homes, assisted living, independent living, for both the residents, the staff, it's amazing, and it would save billions of dollars for insurance, for government, everything, to keep the people safe. And my contact information, email is jack@righthealthcare.com. And phone number is 847-922-1276.
Jack, can you spell out your email address for everyone?
JACK, Jack, at right, RIGHT, healthcare, HEALTHCARE.com, COM.
Fantastic. Thank you both for appearing on the show and educating our people. I have a couple people I'm going to start telling about this product who are going through chemotherapy themselves, and that's I think it's a fantastic way to stay healthy and safe. So thank you both for appearing on the show. I appreciate your time.
Well, thank
It's
you.
a pleasure. Thank you, guys.
I want my listeners to know that this is my dream, teaching people about safety. If it weren't for you, if it weren't for my listeners, I couldn't live my dream. So on behalf of my family and myself, I want to thank each and every one of you for allowing me to live my dream. And I also want to continue to live my dream, and I'm excited to continue to spread the word of safety. Recently, I began a new service as a conference keynote speaker. So if anyone would like for me to speak at future events, or if anyone knows of an introduction or would like to discuss how we can work with one another, I'd love to do just that. The keynote speaking website is www.stress2logic.com. That is STRES2logic.com. If you're aware of any conference speaking engagements where you'd like to have me speak, I'd love an introduction. You can always share my electronic business card, which is Marcus Melnick, MarcusMelnick.com. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back to the show, awesome people. I want to share with you guys a little victory that I had this past about 2 weeks ago. I submitted an article for Concealed Carry Magazine. Concealed Carry Magazine is the magazine that's sent out regularly from the United States Concealed Carry Association. And I have 6 rules for firearm safety. The first 4 rules are what you would expect. They are: treat every gun as if it's loaded, only point in a safe direction, finger off the trigger till you're ready to shoot, and know your target, not only what is beyond it, but what is in front of it. And I add 2 additional rules. The first rule is we never handle a gun in an emotional state of mind, because we do not think straight when we are acting on emotion. Have you ever been in an argument and later on thought of either the perfect thing to say or forgot something that you should have said? Yes, in that moment, your amygdala took over and hijacked the brain. You know what else hijacks the brain? Cell phones. So the article that got published is called Digital Interference, Cell Phone Use and Firearm Safety. Now you might be asking yourself, Marcus, you said you had 6 rules, you only talked about 5. This is the 6th rule. You should not have a cellular phone in one hand and a firearm in another, with a couple of exceptions. Exception number 1 is you've just been attacked, you're holding the attacker at gunpoint, and you're calling the police. That's perfectly okay. Or gone are the days when we used to reload and have these real phone book size books on how much powder to use based upon the weight of the bullet, the types of powder, all that good stuff. That's now all online. Now you can still get the books, but a lot of people who are reloading may use their cell phone to look up various weights and loads and how-tos and YouTube videos. So in that case, it is also okay, because it is task related. Okay, you're trying to secure public safety personnel for someone who just attacked you. You use your cell phone to do that. You're trying to manufacture ammunition. You use your cell phone to do that. But what we don't want to use our cell phone for is taking pictures of ourselves, selfies, Instagram reels, Snapchats. This is all while we have a firearm in our hand. So how do you do that? Well, it's very, very easy. You buy a little desktop tripod, which I have and I use all the time. You set it on record, you point the camera towards yourself, then you ignore the phone. And while you're ignoring the phone, you do your shooting activities, and later you come back to the phone. And when you come back to the phone, then you can start your editing and pull out whatever images you want. As a matter of fact, if you go to my Facebook page, which is Firearm Mentor, you'll see the big background picture of me shooting with the, you can see the fire coming out of the barrel. It took me a long time to do that, and I did it by recording video. That is actually, I practice what I preach. That was on a little tripod that was on the table, and I shot like I ignored the phone. But the phone sucks our brain away from our regular activities. You get a ding, you get a buzz, you're playing a game. Oh, it's your turn in whatever game you're in, Clash of Clans. You got to go back and do your thing. Or it's somebody texting you something that is not critical to that moment. And it's a huge, huge distraction. I've seen so many people on the range trying to do selfies of themselves. Guys, that is unsafe. If you want someone else to take your picture, as an instructor, people ask me all the time, can I get a picture? Absolutely, I'll take it while you are working with your firearms, and I'll take several of them. But you should not have that cell phone in your hand. I absolutely was delighted with this article. If you're interested in reading it, I can certainly email it to you, but you're going to have to make that request by emailing me at Marcus, Marcus, at Firearm Mentor, FirearmMentor.com. So let me remind people what a bill is. A bill is not a law. A bill is a proposed law that is introduced in either the state or federal House of Representatives or Senate, and then it'll have to get approved, go to the other house, get approved, and then it goes to either the president or the governor. So this is not a law. This is a proposed bill in the Illinois legislature that's current. and it's for the insurance code. It creates the Task Force on Firearm Insurance to review current and potential future insurance policy offerings for the safe and legal possession of firearms, and it's going to require regular firearm owners to obtain some sort of information. The appointments, if it passes, shall be made 90 days after the effective date, after it's voted in, and it's going to provide that members serve without compensation, so there's no money that's going to be exchanged. The task force is going to submit a report of findings, recommendations, and other information to the Governor and General Assembly by December 31st, 2026, and the law also provides that the task force is dissolved January 1st, 2027. It's a partisan bill introduced by the Democrats, and there's a co-sponsor, Yolanda Morris. That's what I'm reading. So this is basically going to create a task force to say, hey, maybe we ought to have insurance for guns like we have insurance for cars. I don't necessarily know if that's necessary. I don't know. The task force will probably say, yes, it's necessary. And if Governor Pritzker is still in office, I just don't know when the election is, he will most likely sign it. And if you've noticed, Governor Pritzker and Mayor Johnson are really doubling down on doing all sorts of anti-federal stuff, as I'm sure other states, other blue states are. And this concerns me. I don't want any children to be affected. What does that mean? Well, if the federal government stops sending funds to states that oppose the federal government, who's going to suffer? Kids who are second language learners in school, who need special education, grants for police, grants for public safety. So this could all backfire, and it's just the way it is. So when we come back, we'll be talking about some recent cases that came to be, and I hope you enjoyed learning about how to keep you safe and sound. Stay tuned. The views expressed are not those of local community broadcasting, WYML LP, or its management, volunteers, or underwriters.